We're good. We're good to go. Here we are. We're live from home, on our own, by ourselves.
Yes. Welcome to Wednesday Night Huddle from the Mihalenko household. We're excited to be with you guys tonight. We're going to be talking about life groups and how we're migrating those online to e-groups. So welcome. We're excited to hope everybody had a great week. Hope you had a peaceful time hanging out with your families.
Or yeah, I hope you maintain the craziness of hanging out with your families constantly, nonstop. If you've been in that situation.
Our primary goal tonight is to talk about groups. But before we get started, we wanted to be a little bit more interactive tonight. So if you are currently in a life group, in the chat section, would you give us a thumbs up? If you're not currently in a life group, go ahead and give us a thumbs down in that section.
This is an interactive session tonight, guys, so
yeah.
We need participation.
So go ahead.
There we go.
Go ahead and give us some thumbs up in the chat section. Yeah, there you go. Thank you, Vanessa. Great job.
Awesome.
And if you are giving a thumbs down, just heads up, there are a lot of life group leaders in our chat session tonight, so it's going to be
your fair game.
Fair game.
They're going to be looking for you, trying to get you to sign up for their groups.
Before we get started on life groups tonight, I just had a little small thought that I wanted to bring to you. As most of you know, Orange County is getting ready to go to a stay-at-home order this week, starting tomorrow, and the surrounding counties are expected to follow suit. So many of us will be stuck in our houses over the next several weeks. And so there's going to be a lot of loneliness going along, a lot of isolation. It's awesome that you guys are in there with your families. If you have families that are home, this is a great time to, do some family things, do some walking, some exercise maybe, hanging out, just doing a puzzle with your family, learning how to cook. That's my pandemic, I guess, goal yeah, is to learn how to cook something more than corn dogs. So hope you guys are using this time wisely, but we also know that during this time there's going to be a lot of people that are isolated from everyone else. A lot of people, actually I think 33% to 40% of people actually now live alone in the United States. It seems very high to me, but there are just that many people living alone. So, we're going to talk a little bit tonight about what we can do about that and how we can reach out.
Yeah, so that loneliness leads to a lot of different issues, right? So we talk about depression and, anxiety and, just that feeling of despair. Just not being around people leads to that. So what can we do? So obviously, if you come to Promise Church, you get to shake 100 people's hands and hug everybody and build those rapports and those relationships and get through that depression or that despair or that anxiety if you have it, because you have that camaraderie and you've built those relationships. But right now, we can't hug each other and we can't shake each other's hands because we're stuck at home, or we have to make sure that we're staying away and keeping our social distancing from one another. So what we've done is, as a leader of the life group ministry, we're looking at extending our life groups to the virtual space. So we're introducing e-life groups where we can take the same format where people can get that interaction with one another, build that rapport, continue to have that joy, just without the handshakes and the hugs for now. So we're going to figure out some other kind of virtual way to do that, to fill that gap. But in the meantime, this is what we want to do.
Exactly. And we're going to be doing that through an online conferencing program called Zoom. Don't worry, it's not anything complicated. It's super easy. If you are already in a life group, your life group leaders would probably already reached out to you to see if you would be interested in joining an e-group. And if they have not, expect to hear from them soon. And when you do hear from them, or when they do decide to go live on e-groups, they will send you an email or a text with a link. All you have to do is click on the link and enter your name and join the group. It's that simple. There's no downloading. There's no signing up for something. There's no credit card. It's just simply clicking on the link and joining the group. And then you will be live. They can hear you. You can hear them. You can share video if you choose. You can choose not to, but it's really nice to have a smiling face. Sunday morning, our prayer team got together on Zoom, and it was so awesome. I actually walked around in my house with my camera on. I just filled my house with the sound of people praying and worshiping God, and it was so awesome. I texted Vanessa after, and I was like, thank you so much for doing this, because it's been a long time since I've had a prayer meeting in my house, and I really enjoy doing that. So feel free to share your videos and share your thoughts and share your frustrations and share your victories and share how your kids are driving you crazy with your group. This is the perfect space to do that. It's the same people that you already hang out with in your life group, but it's just a little bit different space.
Absolutely. This is the opportunity for you to still connect with people. Like Erica said, however you want to do it. Communicate in any means you want to, as you can, and get that personal relationship. Let's maintain those relationships with one another.
Today, if you are like Tom and I, this virus has caused mass chaos in your life. I am very envious of you if you are staying home and not working and just hanging out with your family and doing puzzles and learning how to cook. But Tom and I have been crazy busy from the very beginning. We've been working to get our employees set up at home and working 12, 15-hour days. Tom's dealing with a virus of a different kind. And so we've just been so stressed out over all of this. So I've been ministering to myself on my way to work and back with hymns, old hymns. They just speak to me in a time when other things can't get through. And one of my favorite ones that I've been listening to a lot is Great is Thy Faithfulness. And this morning on the way to work, just one of the lines stood out to me today, and it said, all I have needed, thy hand has provided. And I was thinking about that. I was like, wow, Lord, through this pandemic, we are going to have a lot of needs. I know even in my group at work, we're a financial institution, and a lot of people are worried about their jobs, and they're worried what happens if the economy goes down. Am I losing my job? There's just a lot of needs out there right now. And I was praising God, saying, this is awesome that your hand is going to provide everything I need, and I have faith in him that he will. And I felt like the Lord spoke to me and said, you are my hands. The church they are my hands. And so the church is about to be called upon to do some awesome ministry in your community, in your church, in your family. Now is your time to shine. Now it's our time to be that city on a hill right now. And this is the perfect time for us to reach out to one another, to our families, our communities, our people at work. You are the hands. It's not just God reaching down out of the sky with his gigantic hand and he's going to pour out money or peace or a spoken word that's going to bring life to somebody's heart. It's going to be you as the church, and we can do that. We can mobilize that through our life groups.
Absolutely. And so what does that mean? So for our life groups, as you join these groups, don't just join, be involved. I know it's going to be a little awkward at first, just like us talking to you with not getting any responses to my corny jokes. It takes some time to get through that. But once you see that we can communicate with one another, we can do that. We can be there for one another and minister to one another. The only thing I'll say on top of that is as we join these groups and we interact with one another and we build each other up and we help bring each other joy and promote peace in each other's lives, we're definitely setting this platform up for that, for our groups. But we would also encourage you to reach out and find a way that you can be his hands in another way, right? So reach out to somebody that maybe you haven't talked to for a long time, somebody that you feel may be lonely. Search your heart and see what people may be out there that you can reach out to, that you can minister to, and provide that peace and that joy and be that witness for that person.
That's right. And you don't have to join a life group to do that. Some people are just more introverted, and you're probably really enjoying this isolation. And that's great. Good for you. But there is still a need in even the most introverted person on the face of the planet, there's a need for human connection. I read a study that this famous university did. They did an impromptu game of toss a ball out on the lawn of one of the universities, and unbeknownst to one of the people in the group, it was told, don't toss the ball to her. And so she's in the group and everybody's tossing back and forth and they're all laughing and they're having a great time. And, she doesn't get the ball, and so maybe she steps forward a little bit more, and she's trying to get noticed and trying to interact with the people, and she's just being ignored. And after a while, she starts to realize that no one sees me, and when they studied her reactions and her thoughts later, she just said how lonely it felt and how terrible she felt about herself, that she could be in a group and nobody actually saw her. So even if you're not in a life group, if you don't want to join, that's totally fine. Just open your eyes and see someone throughout this time. Like, it's really important that everybody in our church feel like they matter and belong. And from the person that sits on the back seat to the person that sits on the front row, everybody needs to be seen. And so do your part. Like, this is a call to action, not just a call to stay at home and sit on your couch. I saw a really funny Facebook post that said, our forefathers were called to war, and they were called to go overseas and fight, and you're called to sit on your couch. I think we got this, America. That might be the world, and how they're going to deal with this pandemic. But as the church, we're actually being called to action. Yep. We're being called to reach out, to see that person, to do what we can to heal us and our body, the church body, through this. And so if you're able to give financially, give. Like, I'm sure if you reach out to Pastor Ryan, he knows somebody who could use some finances right now.
Absolutely.
If you can just pray, that is the best thing that you can do. Give your time to pray for somebody. I will say also that fasting is awesome. If you need an answer fast, then fast. And somebody out there is needing an answer. I'm on some prayer lists, and we get prayer requests almost daily for people. And sometimes I just feel compelled to fast for that person and to reach out and tell them, I'm fasting for you and I'm standing in the gap for you today. So there are so many things, so many ways. You can deliver food, you can write letters. One of our groups is considering writing letters to our missionaries, to people that are shut up in homes. There's just a ton of ways that we can reach out as a church body. And so this is not a call to lay on your couch and save America. This is a time to get up and to do something to save our church.
Absolutely. And with life groups, we want to make sure that you have an opportunity. So as you join groups, more than just connecting and just being a part of the crowd, right? Find people that maybe that's your field that you can harvest from. The other people that join your groups, you might find somebody that connects to one of these groups that you might see that they have a need that you can fulfill. Whether Erica's, like she said, whether it's financial or emotional or spiritual or in some kind of way that you can fill that gap, this is an opportunity for you to find your way to find a ministry.
Yes. So most of our life groups are being mobilized, and if yours is not, if your group just doesn't work to be on Zoom, that's okay. We have a couple of new life groups out there. Dale Lloyd is going to be heading up
Fireside Chats.
That was Tom's idea.
And I knew he would love it.
I guess that's a throwback to something way before my time, but Tom and Dale knew about it. So that's going to be on Thursday nights, every Thursday night. So it's going to be a 20 to 30 minute life group that just gets together, talks about a theme of the Bible or some type of scripture, and there's going to be interactions. So just join 20 minutes on a Thursday night. Tom and I are going to be leading Quarantined with Tom and Erica, and that's going to be on Monday nights, every Monday night. We know Pastor's Bible Study is still going. We know Book Chatter is still going. Lots of our prayer groups are still going. Even the Ballers group is trying to figure out how they can get together and do some challenges, some competitions. So lots of ways to get to be interactive with one another. Check on each other. This is the perfect time for the church to get outside of the walls, literally, and just focus on something different. It's great that we can come to Sunday and we can all worship together, and I can't wait. My soul is literally just so thirsty to get together with you guys to worship. That's my heart. And so I just can't wait to come back to church to do that. But in the meantime, I'm going to do my part. I'm going to reach out. I'm going to be praying for you guys. I'm going to be reaching out to make sure you guys are okay, giving my finances. To whom much is given, much is required. And I feel like Tom and I have been given much. I want to give much. If you have needs, there are people here that want to meet those needs. So don't feel like you're alone in this this time. I feel like, it feels like the world is pushing us to isolation and pushing us to loneliness. Don't feel afraid. Don't feel despair. We are here. The church is here. We are led by great leaders, Ryan and Christina. They don't want you to feel alone. They're texting us almost every day to ask, like, how is life groups going? Are we online? Are we doing this? They want you to feel connected. So don't feel alone. Reach out. We're all here. We're ready to go. So we wanted to do something cool for our life group leaders that are in the chat tonight. We've asked a lot of them to join.
Yep.
So we want to have them drop an emoji into the chat that kind of goes along with the theme of their life group.
So now's your chance, guys. We didn't really give you a heads up, but we're going to give you 30 seconds to find your emoji that represents your group. Throw it out there in the chat. And then while they're looking at that, while they're thinking about that, I want to let you know, if you already didn't know, the church has a website. It's mypromisechurch.com. If you want to join a group, right at the very top of the group, there you can click, join a group now. You'll see the list of groups that we have that you can join. Like we said, many of our groups we've transferred to our eLife group. And if you're not a member of a group, join the group, and the group leaders will be reaching out to you on their specific schedules. Now, some groups may not be running virtually just because of the nature of the group, but look out there, see what you can, find something that's interesting in you and join the group. And then remember, we have the 2 new groups, Fireside Chats, which is more of a traditional life group. If many of you remember the life groups from before, it's going to be that kind of style. We're going to talk about, just talk about something in the Word, open it up to discussion. And then the same thing for Erica and I with Quarantine with Tom and Erica.
There'll be more jokes.
Yeah, I don't know. Dale's pretty good too, but yes, I would definitely bring more corny jokes to it. But we're just here to be here for one another, to uplift one another, to encourage one another, and to minister to one another. It's not just about the leaders ministering to you. Remember, this is about us ministering to each other. Erica and I need to be ministered to. Yes. We're all hungry. We're all thirsty for that interaction, and being with God's people and being with the church is something that we all need, every one of us. So be there for your leaders too. If you're a part of a group and you have the time, be there to not only to support the group, but support the other people in the group. Yes.
So now's your chance to shop for a life group based on an emoji. So go ahead and scroll through those comment sections and look for an emoji that speaks to you. Reach out to that life group leader and figure out how you can join. If you have any questions about life groups, go ahead and put that down in the comment section. We have tons of group leaders in there that would be more than happy to answer any questions. If you don't know, once again, how to join a group, you can put a comment down there and say, hey, I want to join a group, and we'll send you a link to how to do that. So we just want to take one last opportunity to say that we have enjoyed being with you tonight. We hope you've enjoyed seeing us. We wish we could see every single one of you.
Wait. If you'll all stand with us.
We wish we could be with you. We wish you could see you. So join a life group so that we can see your face. We're going to try to join as many as we possibly can, just so that we can feel connected to one another. And get ready. The church is being called to action. And so get your shoes on. Get your pocketbook ready. And, get your prayer knees ready. And get your scriptures ready. The words of life. Because this is the time to speak life to one another. So just get ready. The time is now, and we're going to make a difference, and it's going to be awesome.
It's our call to action, everybody.
Yes.
We love you guys. Have a good night. You're dismissed.